Now we're exploring the issue of the economic or the economic link between slavery and the global economy. There's a well documented and well established link between slavery and the aftermath and the byproduct and the exploitation of slavery. We're not just going way back in the past, but we're tracing, as they do with economic forecasts, as they do in many of the sciences, dealing with weather, dealing with climate, dealing with people, population, dealing with diseases, and dealing with money and economical systems. That there is a clear and an established and historical economic link between slavery and the economy. Now, the October surprise that occurred just prior to the election of President Barack Obama is very significant, it's very interesting. Now, people will say, well, they did that to stop the black man or to stumble him up, so forth and so on. What do? They say, oh, well, the bankers stole the money, so forth and so on. And it is believed that, well, the crash or the crisis in the economy was somehow directly caused by the election or because of the anticipation of the election of Barack Obama. And I'm here to tell you that that may seem to be true, but there's more behind the scenes that you really didn't perceive. But if you do a little bit of investigation, you'll see the connection, the link, that the economy already, the Western economy and the American economy already was suffering for a long time. You understand? Not as long as, of course, Europe, if you go back to World War II, and England in particular, so forth and so on. But the Western economy over here, the Anglo-American economy in America, was already on the decline. And what they did was reveal it, in other words, reveal exactly the situation. They revealed exactly the predicament that they were in. They said, well, we already know we have a problem. And the problem been going on for a while, so forth and so on. So our old president, Bush, we're getting Bush out of here. You understand? Bush is definitely out of here. And everybody's feeling good about Obama. And Obama even was talking about the economy and so forth and so on. And people, had all this and still, to a degree, still have all this trust and confidence in him. So let's reveal it on his watch. They found out that the proper and convenient time to reveal the predicament of the global economy. See, people have this idea like there is wealth all stacked up somewhere in a sense. How do you value wealth? How is wealth valued? Most people value the wealth in the actual dollar because the dollar has that talisman, that spell, that witchcraft on it, and says, in God we trust, and all the symbols and signs and everything else, and how it's been used. So, people have believed, you understand, that it's all about how many dollars you have. So if you have X amount of dollars, even though the more dollars that people get, the less they really get for their money with inflation and all these other things. And these are things that most black folks, you say most of us as black folks, which is the whole base. We are the base of the white, Western, global, so-called economic system. Black folks, black people, and in particular Africa. You understand, Africa, because of the resources, people, human resources, but moreover because they got the real human resources already when they got the lost sheep of the house of Israel, when they got my people, our people over here during the slavery days, so forth and so on. And this is how the Western economies grew. This is how the Western economies thrived. This is how they became rich and so-called first world people, because of that global, that geopolitical and global exploitation. But something has changed over time. There has been a lot of different changes over time, and to a certain degree, a certain amount of awareness. They're not able to just use whiteness and white supremacy and their so-called Christianity, and they're not able to use those things as they used it before to put people under a spell. You understand? And to bring people under their domination, to make them do whatever they want them to do just because of white supremacy. In other words, people are not so ignorant. People have recognized they have the right to talk back in a sense. You know, their right to speak, their right to protest, so forth and so on. And the whole issue, you know, a lot of the humanistic issues have actually put a monkey wrench in global white supremacy. But you see, most of so-called our people and most of the young people are in a state of denial about global white supremacy. You see, they look at what's going on in the hip hop, and they look at the false prosperity and the whole prosperity doctrine out there in the churches, the nigger churches, as well as out there in the so-called entertainment and the pop, what's popular, the pop industry and entertainment industry, ones like Oprah and 50 Cent and Jay-Z and, you know, these other ones, these symbols out there, and say, you know what, things are different. Look how they're rich, you understand? And we don't have no excuse anymore to talk about, forget about slavery, because we're in a whole new day. And what the fools don't recognize is that today is based on yesterday. You cannot say we're in a new day today and have no connection with what occurred yesterday. You know the old saying. The old saying is that the people without a knowledge of their roots, without any roots, perish. You understand? And if people without knowledge of the past is doomed to repeat it. So we're going to repeat